Okay, so let's talk about photosynthesis. It's going to be a two-part. We'll do photosynthesis and then we'll do cellular respiration in a different video. And there's also going to be an in-class aspect where this is just an overview. And we will fill in a lot of detail in class. So it is very important that you pay attention and get the good overview so that when we go over more in class that you're not completely lost. So this is the overall thing that happens in photosynthesis. We've got water going in, CO2 going in, oxygen leaving, sugar leaving, light going in. There's a cycle involved, light reactions, Calvin cycle, ATP, NADPA. So we will talk about a lot of this middle stuff in between. Today we're going to talk about the overall reactions, light reactions, Calvin cycle, and what happens to water and carbon dioxide in the process of making sugar and oxygen. Okay. So photosynthesis, basically it is how the sun's energy is going to turn into chemical energy that we can use. This happens, P for photosynthesis, so it happens mostly in plants. Plants in the scientific world are called autotrophs. There are also some photosynthetic organisms that are not plants, but we learned about those a little bit when we talked about cells. So autotrophs make their own food. They basically can get by with feeding themselves. And there's two different types of autotrophs. There's photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs. So photoautotrophs, they use the sun's energy, photo meaning light, and the light from the sun. So they use the sun's energy through photosynthesis and make glucose or sugar from that light using a couple of ingredients. Now chemosynthesis or chemoautotrophs go through the process called chemosynthesis, and that's using chemical energy in order to create more energy that's usable. Bacteria will use this when they are processing like sulfides or methane. And also a couple of organisms that are deep down in the bottoms of the ocean are using sulfur vents in order to create energy for themselves because there's no sun down there. All right. So photosynthesis, where does it happen? Here is a picture of the plant cell, and these green things are called chloroplasts. Inside of the chloroplasts are chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is what makes a plant green, and it's also what is going to absorb that light that comes from the sun. So now we know where in the cell this is happening. Let's look at what is happening. Well, we can look at this picture and it says light's going in to the chloroplast into the process called light reactions. Also, water is going in. Water also known as H2O. Okay, so in the light reactions, water is entering into the chloroplast and it is split by this light. Okay, so when water is split, you have H and O, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. What happens is the hydrogen stays inside of the chloroplast and the oxygen is released. Okay, so that is how plants are giving off oxygen. That hydrogen stays in here and actually is utilized by some molecules in order to harness energy and to create the sugar in the next cycle. It's called light reactions because it happens in the presence of light. So this can happen during the day. All right. The next step is the Calvin cycle. It's called light independent reactions or the dark reactions because the Calvin cycle can go on with the absence of light. So basically what happens in the Calvin cycle is carbon dioxide goes in, okay, and it is rearranged and recombined. Hydrogen that came from the light reactions is shuttled into the Calvin cycle, and out comes sugar, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. This sugar is what really is the plant's body. It's not necessarily sugar that's spewing from it for us to eat. It is a part of that plant. So when humans eat plants, that is what we are eating, is that glucose or the longer chains of carbohydrates that the plant has built up to grow. Okay, so the overall reaction is C6, 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus light energy is going to yield C6H12O6 plus 6O2. So the reactants are carbon dioxide and water, which go in, plus the light energy, and out comes sugar and oxygen. Carbohydrate is made of glucose, basically, and then water is split, and that's how the energy is created in order to make the sugar. We will talk about this very in-depthly tomorrow in class or whenever I see you again. Just make sure you understand the overall reaction and the two steps, the two stages of photosynthesis.